As you saw, these past couple of months have marked the first time we've ever reached plus 1.5 degrees of global warming over pre-industrial levels. But did you know that the 1.5 degree target for global warming set by the Paris Agreement in 2016 was doomed to fail from the start? Even if every nation that signed a climate pledge was successful, we'd still have 3.3 degrees of global warming by year 2100. That's right, the pledges themselves are completely insufficient to reach the goals that they set out to work towards. Why? In the year 2000s, IPCC modelers knew that to keep global warming to within 1.5 degrees Celsius, energy demand must go down because we simply can't build enough renewable energy capacity fast enough to keep up with growth in energy demand. This meant that industrial production must go down. This conclusion, although scientifically backed, would never have been accepted by politicians. However, IPCC's fifth report, published in 2014, showed that in 101 of the 116 scenarios they calculated, we could stay below 2 degrees of global warming by incorporating a technology called BECCS. As a result, this technology is a central and critical assumption for each country setting their pledge, and yet chances are you've never even heard of BECCS. BECCS is bioenergy with carbon capture and storage. This, quote, negative emission technology is where we'd grow trees, cut it down, then burn it to produce energy and electricity while using carbon capture to get all the CO2 that is emitted. This was hypothesized in 2001, but over 20 years later, there are only 3 large-scale facilities doing this. And I'm going to make a whole nother video about what's wrong with BECCS. And yet, this was the primary assumption used in target setting for the Paris Agreement. So, what can we do? First, we need to stop thinking that governments are doing enough, even if it's, quote, on track to reach its own Paris Agreement pledge, because the greater picture relies on a technology that is simply not proven. We need to stop believing in technology solutions like CCS because it's not enough, and focus on getting the oil and gas industries to stop extracting fossil fuels. Second, advocate for degrowth and post-growth policies, less energy usage and less production. There's scientifically simply no other way to avoid an ecological catastrophe. Third, start organizing with people. Look up activism groups near you like Extinction Rebellion or Greenpeace and join them. Take part in protests against big oil, as well as against banks that continue to fund big oil like BNP Paribas. Even low-risk actions like handing out flyers and informing people about how awful their bank is and ask them to change banks can have an impact. Next, support organizations that sue big oil. Make it as expensive as possible for these companies to drill, expand, or lay a pipeline. And finally, advise your loved ones, and especially children, to not seek a career in big oil, petrochem, or agro. Spread the word, and only together can we stop the climate and ecological emergency.